Mother Nature wins, as long as we don't kill it first. Our planet provides an enormous amount of free energy in the form of natural resources other than coal, oil, and natural gas, or like I like to call them, the big three combustibles. In a head-to-head comparison between the big three renewables, solar, wind, and hydroelectric power, the big three combustibles are going to fail every time. I've done the research. Renewable is the way to go. I will walk you through wind versus the big three combustibles, hydroelectric, and solar, and they will all come out on top. Let's get to it. First up is wind. The biggest complaint that people have about wind, I've illustrated it well here, is that wind kills birds. It is true. Some of the older turbines, when operating in migratory flight patterns, will kill birds. But per my research and my own mathematics, day 3 of the BP oil spill killed more birds than the wind industry to date. Aside from that, aside from natural disasters and catastrophes, according to an article by DeLucci and Jacobson in the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, that was in 2013, the petroleum industry in their day-to-day operations through refinery emissions kill more birds than the wind industry in their day-to-day operations. Aside from that, there's a new company in Choctaw, Minnesota called Shearwind. They have developed a new method of harnessing wind energy as slow as 2 miles per hour as per their technical data on shearwind.com that can collect and focus wind as slow as 2 miles per hour and generate useful electricity. And this thing was designed with our aerial friends in mind. It is more proof that as technology advances, the renewable resources are going to continue to be better and better operations, with the added luxury of not destroying our habitat. Speaking of uninhabitable places, next up we're going to talk about the sun. Solar energy versus the big three combustibles. At the center of our galaxy is a huge burning ball of gas pumping limited energy right at us. And due to skewed cost analysis, which are outlined in a 2014 article by V. Smill, that is published in the Scientific American, these skewed cost analysis incorporate do not incorporate what they call external costs. Now these are the costs that the coal industry and oil industry and natural gas, mainly by means of fracking, they're incurring civil penalties, they are having to pay fines for destruction of wildlife, and they don't account for them in their cost of operation. When you equate them back in, solar energy comes out much cheaper overall. And the advancing technology, panels are getting cheaper. There's actually a book called Sunshine to Dollars. It was written by S.E. Harris in 2006. And according to him, in some states, slightly damaged solar panels used by the Department of Transportation can be freely harvested and are still fully functional. You may need a bigger array, but they're free if you can get enough of them. Another example of solar's just sheer awesomeness these days is a plant called the Ivanpah Power Plant, so named for a valley in California, that is powering 140,000 homes with nothing but the sun. They're using passive solar collection, which is light reflecting off panels to boil water for turbines, and active solar collection, which is the sun hitting silicone embedded in panels and shedding electrons for electricity. The big advantage here is the only other complaint you can make about solar is that when the sun's not shining, you lose your power. Ivanpah has a second array that they use to boil salt, and the boiled salt can hold its heat for up to 13 days, enough to run their generators, even in the lowest light conditions. That about does it for solar. We can move on to hydroelectric versus the big three. Now, hydropower is extremely cost efficient because it requires no fuel whatsoever. There's actually an article called in World Watch Institute in 2012 that illustrates exactly how little the hydroelectric market fluctuates when the other energies move. So hydroelectric would be great when we move off of combustible power, because as we rely on it, our prices won't skyrocket. Hydroelectricity got a bad rep because of some big dams that went up under the marquee of eminent domain, and they were poorly managed plans. They exploited slave labor. It's a terrible chapter in our industrial history, but it has been corrected. Small-scale hydro is coming back in a big way. Cities are building plants no bigger than the home I'm standing in to power multiple neighborhoods. And the cool thing about hydro is every time it rains, your power is back. And this planet has rain all the time somewhere. I've now discussed the advantages of renewable energy versus combustible energy. I have logically walked through it the best that I can. I've done the research. All I can do is encourage you to contact your local governments, your state, your city council, and ask them why there aren't renewable energy projects in motion in your area. These things are getting huge tax incentives. The Go Green motion has taken off in a big way, and all they need is manpower and support to get this done. We can be a green country, a green world in our near future, and have a future. Think green, vote green, and God bless you.